And now if I will talk to them, I will inform them this has happened. They will be in shock how this could have happened as well. Like in mere 20 days, just.
Oh, this happened in just 20
Yeah,
days.
yeah, I think so. Hello.
Hey, Dr. Amita.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. Congratulations. Very excited to
Thank you so much,
speak
sir.
to you especially after securing a highly competitive psychiatric fellowship.
Thank you so much, sir. It was all because of you.
So tell me, how does it feel?
It feels very great. I feel like very relaxed now, and I'm like very eager to join the program and learn things.
I'm so happy to hear that. Let's talk about a little bit about your journey. So you're at a stage where you can now teach
Okay,
people.
sir.
So let's see
Yes.
how you approached through your residency and what happened and things like that.
Okay, so I am Dr. Ramita. I have done my MBBS and MD Psychiatry from India. After doing my MD Psychiatry, I plan to move to US. So I gave like USMLE steps 1 and 2 and applied for residency match for 2025 last year. And during the match season, I only got like 2-3 interviews, but I could not match in the residency. And later on, like I contacted Sir, and through him, I came to know like about research fellowships, and then we worked together on my like personal statement or CV building things, which I could highlight. And later on, I applied to various programs, and from that, I got interview from University of Washington, Seattle for addiction psych fellowship, and I had an interview with them, which I got cleared into. Now I'm going to join the program in the upcoming 2 to 3 months.
Very nice. And if you reflect back upon your, let's say, journey as you went through your residency, so you did say you got about 2 views and stuff like that. Now, what do you think you could have changed in order to increase your success of finding more interviews and increase your chances of matching? I mean, now you're in a good spot, but let's say if the scenario were to be different, then how do you think?
I think the difference I could make was to make my profile more compelling, I would say. Like my personal statement was, I think there were like gaps in it. I could fill it, like under your mentorship. I came to know like the things I need to highlight was missing. No doubt I have my experience on everything, including research work, but how to present the things, the presentable form, I would say, the US teachers or the, the staff program directors are saying was missing that. I would say that was not highlighted. So if I would have knowledge about it, I would have presented in a different way. My personal statement, also my CV, the way it should be, it was not there, and that was lacking. And the third point, I would say I don't have much contacts in US, and the things I need. These were the only things that were lacking.
Okay. So ultimately packaging your application in the way the program would like it.
Yes.
I mean, even now,
absolutely.
right, even now you have a position, but you still did not have contacts, but you managed to get it right.
Yes, absolutely. That is the only thing. I'm very happy. Earlier I said that was the presentation of application. That is mandatory. It does not matter how much experience is, how much you have done US clinical experience. Although I have clinical experience of 3 to 4 months, but it was of no use until my profile is appealing to the program and they are offering me interview. That is main thing.
Right. So it's I think that's an important point that anyone who is applying should think of from the program director perspective as to what they would be thinking, how they analyze the application and things like that. I might like 100 different things, but at the end of the day, what is the person going to like is what makes a difference. I think so. Otherwise, all your paperwork is coming along fine?
Yes, sir. Paperwork that yesterday I have submitted to Delhi Ministry of Health. I took leave actually, and now they have generated my SON. It is sent to ECFMG by today, and then they will give me back.
Fine. As I said on the email, is something, there are so many people who have done this. So the whole process is already set up. It's just going through the right at the right time and keep moving things in terms of your application and things like that.
Okay.
And let me ask you, did you find the our help beneficial?
Absolutely. First of all, it is not like help, it was complete guidance, I would say. Guidance in a sense, like I need to calm down first of all in the situation when I got very panicked about like I haven't matched what to do, what not to do, and then finding out the solutions. Like you guided about conferences, things and things like which was not in my mind actually. I was like, I am preparing for next year match only. I am like looking for clinical observerships. You cleared me on this fact also. The US clinical experience was not that much important. That is to get accepted. I need to work on other things as well. So that also changed my mind. Secondly, my mindset also got changed, what I need to focus on. Thirdly, as we worked together on personal statement, on CV, the things got very refined. And I also learned so much, like the way I was thinking, this should be added, this should not be added, and you just corrected it. And we made so many corrections on the way. That was very helpful. I think that is the only reason what program director was looking in my profile was missing. And finally they looked and, they gave the interview. It was completely helpful and it changed my journey within, I think, 20 days, I would say.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. And
Yes.
when you got called for the interview, I remember I was busy with so many things, and you were in the middle of something. But
Yeah,
to squeeze in some tips there.
that was actually very helpful, I would say, because actually what we talked about was visa. You already knew the questions they are going to ask at this stage, and these were the only questions my program director actually asked about visa thing, about what not to answer. I had that answers in my mind, which we talked like on our half-hour call or 15 minutes. It was very helpful. Like I was on the spot to give that answers, and I know what I need to present myself with. So it was very helpful.
Cool. So now you know that just because a program doesn't say anything about visa doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, this is the thing. I was like, I don't need to apply to the programs which are not saying about, visa sponsorship. They didn't mention. Sir asked, we don't take also, the visa thing like J1 visa or H1B visa sponsorship. But they had these spots which were not open and they were not shown on web. But applying to them, as you said, gave me this spot. Like University of Washington, I don't think so. They give non-ACGME accredited psych residents like I was.
Yeah. There you go. See, one thing I want to tell you, this would be a good learning
sir.
for you as you move to the USA as well. Now, for example, okay, now you're looking at a profile to apply for, let's say, fellowship, and a program says that we will sponsor a visa. Fine. They will sponsor a visa. Now, a program might not say anything about a visa. Now, that does not mean they would sponsor or not sponsor. Is that making sense?
Absolutely. This is the only thing I came to know by meeting you. That if they're not mentioning that they will not sponsor visa, it does not mean that they can't sponsor. So this has only made a difference.
There you go. That is America. Now you got it.
Yeah. Yes, this is the tip I learned also. Because I was not going to apply to these programs which were not saying like they are providing J1ship until we talked. So I applied to as many as programs or fellowships as I could, which were not saying like we will not give J1 visa.
Yeah, right. Again, for folks who are watching this, the message is you want to focus on what exactly your background is and then go to those programs. I mean, this doesn't mean that you should blanketly apply to all of them. You might have to, but just saying, you also have to take into consideration whether you should focus on university programs or community programs, where your background is. So that is really key. Now, let me ask you, you finish this fellowship, okay? You start this fellowship, and then what happened?
Sir, actually, I was also going to discuss.
Now, there is also another option, which is you can actually start exploring for jobs, okay?
Okay.
So, if you get hired as an attending physician directly, now that you bypass US residency, okay?
Okay, that's very cool to hear.
You would start functioning as an attending physician, assuming you got a job.
Okay, definitely, sir. I will look for the jobs as well.
So
yes,
these
sir.
two differences, two paths that actually exist for you.
I never knew that, I can apply or I can look for the jobs as well.
Yeah.
Because I thought that getting into a board certified, like I said, we had like structured in this way that our system works like if you are certified or board certified, then only you can, apply for jobs. Now you cleared on this as well that I can apply for job not being certified. So this is also for folks like me, we don't know.
Where did you read that you cannot apply for jobs if you're not board certified?
Because I haven't read anywhere. It's like pre-assumption, I would say.
An assumption. Okay.
Like it's America that you need to be board certified. That's why I'm going to do psych residency. Otherwise, repeating a residency and getting a job, this is the only mindset I had.
My message is not to say that you should not be board certified. Okay. I mean, I highly encourage everyone to finish their USML. You have already done it. I mean, even for those folks who have not done it, I highly encourage them to finish it and then be board certified. Because, many do require you to be board certified. But what I'm saying is, there are also options without board certification. And once people explore those options, they can go back to the American boards and seek and request them if they can let people take boards. So when I came to the US, myself. So I was not board certified. Okay.
Yes, you told.
So I got a job without board certification, and I eventually became board certified through the alternate entry path, but I transitioned without board certification. So my residency is actually from India, okay?
Okay, sir.
And my fellowship is from Canada. My job is in the US.
So you never repeated your residency in America, right?
Correct. I did not repeat my residency in America. That is correct. So I got board certified based on my Indian residency and through the alternate entry path. So I'm an anesthesiologist, if you didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
So I got
That
board
I read your profile, but
Right.
I never knew this.
Right. So I'm board certified. Now I'm board certified. I mean, many years ago I became board certified in anesthesia, then in pediatric anesthesia. So I'm double board certified. But there are quite a few people in this country who are not actually board certified. Okay. And you can
I'm still working. They're not board certified, but still working right now in US.
Correct. I mean, should you be doing that? That's a separate thing. I always encourage people to be board certified, but there are people who are not board certified.
It's like we should have alternate pathways in mind. Like we haven't given thought to alternate pathways ever, because one streamlined thing only we are aware of, we see on YouTube or any channels. So we are just focusing on that, going in the same path, not ever exploring about the alternate pathways which can be available to us. So knowing them is also that much mandatory.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, and that's exactly what we do.
But I'm very honest with this thing. People like me or people who are sitting in abroad, they hardly know about alternate pathways. The only thing we know is that you have to do USMLE steps, you have to apply for residency. Although I have completed my residency in India, I also need to do my residency to get board certified and follow the regular path. Never to look for alternate pathways, because we are not trained to look also. So here I think the folks like me can explore the options and talk to you and get better guidance on these things.
Yeah, for sure. So these are pathways by the American Board of Medical Specialties, and this is available across almost all specialties. Now, initially, to my knowledge, only orthopedics and radiology had it. Then anesthesiology got in. There were 3 specialties, but right now almost every specialty has it.
Okay. What they have is like radiologist, anesthesiology, and orthopedics have alternate pathways. You are saying this?
To begin with, 20 years ago, only orthopedics and radiology had it. The others might have had it, I don't know. But then anesthesiology joined 20 years ago. But since the last 5 some years, most other specialties do have alternate entry path.
Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very good also.
And there is also another myth I see circulating because people ask me a lot, that they tell me there are 13 states that actually let people bypass residency. I don't know where that came from either.
So this is actually going on very much. Like first there was Tennessee state only, like those who were giving opportunities for doctors who have completed residency in other countries. But now when you Google it or when people are talking about, I don't know where they are reading, but this is going on very much. Like there are 13 states or 14 states who are coming up with new licensing, and people are sharing about this, that there are so many alternate pathways opening for people who have completed residency in their home country.
Well, the alternate licensing options may be limited to certain states, but what I'm speaking, alternate entry path, those are two different concepts. Okay, so the alternate entry path through which an IMG can be board certified in the US bypassing residency is available in all 50 states. It is not a big thing. I keep saying this again and again, but again, somebody else comes and tells me, oh, we hear only 13 states does this. No, all 50 states. It does not matter. It's not a state specific thing. It's driven by the American medical specialties. Now, the American Board of Medical Specialties, either it's American radiology or anesthesiology or orthopedic surgery, they're not going to say do this in this state, do this in that state. They create rules that is globally applicable all over the US, right? They're doing the right things by doing this. Now, the state is creating a rule. Now, that's a separate thing. That is state specific. But whatever is done by ABMS or American Board of Medical Specialties, it's a global thing. Yeah, that's another myth I see heavily getting circulated.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Now we are clear on this thing which you are saying. At least I am.
Yeah, hopefully hopefully people who watch this will get some idea as to.
Yes, but let me remind you, you are doing a great job, and your, I would say, persona is very motivating as well. Like there is a aura of a person that's cool enough to be calm down, first of all. Like students are like panicked, or they are in a rush or having anxiety. That can be calmed down after talking to you, because guidance is the only thing is required.
Well, thank you so much. That is very kind of you.
I'm also very excited that not going through residency part, as I've already completed residency. I got to learn something new as well from addiction psych fellowship, and fellowship I haven't done in India. Now I will be doing in America. That is more rewarding and like good for me. Like I was somewhere dicey of doing residency as well. Still I am.
So focus on working hard.
Yes, sir.
Making sure you have a good communication skills throughout the program, throughout your fellowship, because that actually is key. The first impression is always the best impression. So come across as someone who is really hardworking, who is very fluent in communication, who is very happy, who is really likes working, likes learning, things like that. Okay. Start addressing people by their last names. Doctor, last name, not sir. And then eventually they would say, call me by their first name. And that is fine. So these are some of the things you have to learn. Nobody taught me all this, but these are some of the things that are important.
I will focus on this.
Yeah, so that way you bring a good name to the hospital. And University of Washington is a fantastic university. It's a highly regarded, reputed university. And Seattle is a very nice place. It's a beautiful part. Quite expensive though, but it's a nice place. And I think you'll enjoy.
So basically, University of anything else I should know about University of Washington, or you can, if you know.
Nothing specifically about University of Washington. They have a really good support structure. I have a friend who is actually a faculty there, probably already a professor, I think. And I can connect him with you if you have any questions and things like that. So you can ask him about things like, where do you need to rent an apartment? Obviously, you'll be renting an apartment to begin with, right?
Sir.
He can ask his fellows and tell you where usually fellows stay, and provide some
absolutely, that will be great.
Provide some basic information as well.
Yes, that will be great. In fact, also don't know much about Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle is a nice place. I was there like a couple of years ago. Had a good time.
Okay.
The process is but I'll try to get you the answer if you feel like you're stuck with anything.
Thank you, sir. That I know. That if I have a problem, I immediately look up to you so that you can help me out, and I have always received a response.
Okay, I'm so happy to hear that. I think you shared your experience. I think that is most important.
That is really important. I can understand, and for me, it was very helpful. In short, I know this. Like now, I see the folks which haven't matched. I talk to them, the people who were working with me or who has applied this year, including who has done residency in India, and they are applying for observerships, like observership, getting more into US clinical experiences, and they are paying again for the same thing which they did last year. And now we have worked together. I haven't done all these things. I came to know that US clinical experiences are not that much important, or they don't play that much clinical role, I would say, or major role, which I had. Still, my fellows are doing the same thing. They are working with the US clinical experiences, getting into rotations, and me getting into a position was all because that we worked together. Like, the things changed. And now if I will talk to them, I will inform them this has happened. They will be in shock how this could have happened as well. Like in mere 20 days. Just.
Oh, this happened in just 20 days?
Yeah, I think so. I think we talked on 2021 or 22 March only we had the first call with you. And see, today is like 15 April or 16 April.
Wow, so in
hardly it was.
Whoa.
Yeah, offer letter also like I think 3-4 days ago. So if you skip those also, so it's like 15-16 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the thing I'm talking about. The guidance matters a lot. Actual right direction matters a lot. And if I haven't contacted you earlier, or my father says that if you knew that you could contact someone like that, then why you did earlier when you were applying for residency? And I got scolded on this thing.
It's all right. I think,
I didn't know that time. I had very limited time actually.
Yeah. Well, I think regarding those people who did not match, they have to take a step back and then think about how best to maximize their application and ultimately impress the program director, whatever specialty it is.
Yes.
And the US clinical experience can be good and bad depending on what you're doing, where you're doing, how you're doing, and things like that.
But sir, this is also the thing, like those who have completed or those who are graduate from India or any other part of apart from US, like there they have only option of observership left. Like hands-on experience is not available. And seeing this, the observership has the least rank when you're referring for a US clinical experience. So I don't think so. My US clinical experience was worthy enough to fetch me any spot.
Yeah, I think so, because see, I mean, if a program gets, let's say, 10 or 20 applications and they all look kind of very similar, then that can be a problem. I mean, we run this at various different levels. So not only you getting into a fellowship or residency, but even US graduates getting into medical school, even there we run into problems when we look around, because most of these folks come with the exact same type of experience. They have to keep it unique and thinking of new ways how they can really make their profile strong and sell their application.
Yes, sir.
Because the same thing again and again and again can be a problem, because now the program knows, okay, this person is coming from a specific path, and if they have hired someone, okay, and if they had a good candidate, then everything is fine. But if they hired someone, they unfortunately had a wrong candidate, then they would stop hiring anyone in that. So that's how it is. So yeah, it can be good and bad depending on. I think people have to take a step back, think very critically, not just blindfolded and do things, but rather think of, okay, what the program director is wanting.
This is the thing.
Right.
Out of curiosity, I just want to ask that is this like paid position, because I haven't looked into.
I would think so. Doesn't not the contract say that? Okay. So that should be the salary approximately you should be getting. So you're looking at somewhere between $80,000 to $90,000. Okay. So the monthly rate you have is approximately $7,000. So yeah, this is what I would expect them to pay you.
Thank you, sir. This actually you cleared because I was not sure of.
Washington is one of a few states without personal or corporate income tax.
That is, I think, one of the best things.
Yes,
why not?
Money.
But see, you have already said it's an expensive, so vice versa.
Oregon is even more nicer.
Oregon, yeah.
Is even more nicer. The nature in Oregon is so nice. There is a park called Crater Lake. Just Google the images of Crater Lake. You'll be like amazed to see how nice it looks.
Okay, I will Crater Lake.
Yeah, it's just amazing. When I saw the Crater Lake, I've been there. I was like, whoa,
okay,
what the heck is this? The whole lake actually in real looks like you've taken a picture.
I will definitely visit this.
You should. It's really nice. And the rural parts of Oregon is really, really beautiful.
But definitely, first thing, whenever I will get the chance, I will meet you in person for sure.
Sure,
Yes, definitely, it is on my list. We have talked about it.
I look forward.
It does not matter. Like, it was our first meeting and we were so impressed. I don't know, like the way you talk or your aura, I earlier said also. It was not like we need to, continue for the package thing like that. You had that 1 hour with us. That was so wholesome, and we were very prepared. Like, we need to work with this. Things can get sorted. That was best thing.
No, I'm so glad to hear all this.
You should know like how happy we are.
No, me too. When people get a position, there are two parties happening. One on your side, one on my side.
Yes, absolutely. And earlier when we talked on interview, and yes, and mindset also, I was like matching into University of Washington is not easy. If I have got an interview, let's do it and give your best. As you said also, no? You do your best and rest is up to them. And see, I never expected this actually.
Yeah. Well, it's all great news. You have it.
Yes.
Enjoy your time in India and
yes, sir.
Enjoy your time with your family, parents.
Yes, sir.
Because life gets busier. Life gets in a different direction once you're here.
Yes, I have heard this. My sister keep on saying, we will see now. Coming here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Anything else, sir?
Not that I can think of. I think we talked about how you transition, what are your next steps, your licensing, everything we talked about. Yeah, I think we covered everything.
If you need me, then I'm there. You can tell me anytime.
Yeah, thanks for taking your time to talk to me and sharing your experience, more importantly.
Yes, same here.